My name is Kai Lewis. I came from Trinidad. I live in Brooklyn. Growing up, I used to love playing soccer and playing drums and carnival. I came to Brooklyn on February the 8th, 2014. One of the things I love about Brooklyn is I love the surrounding and the environments and the restaurant. Brooklyn is different from my home country because it snows a lot and it gets very cold. One of the things I miss about my home country is my friends, family, my soccer club, and my girl.
My name is Sandro Butos. I'm come from Haiti. I'm living in Brooklyn. I like people to live in Brooklyn. They are so nice. In Haiti, we don't have traffic light, building, park, and no school free. My girlfriend and my friend, my brother, my play soccer, all miss me.
My name is Willie Junior Mezido. I come from Haiti. I live in Brooklyn. Growing up, I like to play soccer and basketball. I came to Brooklyn on July 4, 2014. One of the things I miss about my home country is I miss my dogs and my car and my soccer team.
Growing up in Iowa, used to watch the video of an artist. I love the sounds and the scene. Day by day, begins I get a user with music. Burkina is different from my home country because I go to school free. I don't have security in my home country. One of the things I miss about my home country is I miss my friend.
Okay. My name is Michael Ronaldo. I come from AD. I live in Brooklyn. I love videography because my family is very good. I like soccer. My mother tell me no play soccer because I studying. She tell me to go to studying. After that, you go to play. I'm come to Brooklyn February 10, 2015. Brooklyn is different from my country because I don't have school free. I don't have electricity. I miss you, my uncle and my friend and my church. That's it.
Let me talk to you for a second, dog. So, listen, at first, having conversations with Papa, you know how that go. He said I'm lazy, I'm like I know. So worried about your flow, show work on school. So worried about looking all nice and cool. So worried about them girls who think they like you too. I'm worried about you graduating cause I didn't do it. And if you don't understand what I've been through, selling drugs on the corner, always making moves. Been shot at, stabbed, chased by police. Didn't wanna sell drugs, but the drugs on me. I do anything so you won't bleed. I never was a follower, so you better lead. You got a great potential, you scared to let it show. And just the beginning, got time to let it grow. Just know I love you, son. Everything I say is not for fun, and everything I done wasn't always fun. Damn. I wanna see you succeed. I wanna see my young king get to his dreams. I wanna show you off. Witness fame. I want people to acknowledge your name. I say I'll try my best with this Papa. Feel like school now for me, I get no rest with this Papa. Can't close my eyes, feel the pressure with this Papa. Every time I try, I feel that pressure with Papa. I can tell you not proud of me, Papa. So down the hate, feel like I'm drowning now, Papa. Can you save me? Can you save me, Papa? Run up for my fears like Jason chasing me, Papa. Never was the son you wanted, don't replace me, Papa. Always with a shine bright is in no place for me, Papa. Every time I look at you, you bringing me, Papa. That hope inside, that's what I gotta say to you, Papa. You got friends in this right. I don't think, but you and Papa saved my life. In the cold nights when I wasn't thinking right. Damn, you and Papa saved my life. Wow.
Hey. Don't ever let somebody tell you you can't do something. Not even me. Alright? You got a dream, you gotta protect it.
Special shout out go to my big brother Rob, my mentor, my best friend. You know, love you, boy.
I love you, Dad.
Hey, Uncle Robbie, just want to let you know how much I love you and I appreciate you, your love, your support, and your guidance with everything that I do, supporting my family and always being there for us. I love you.
Who am I, just your regular type of guy, just your mellow type of fella, who enjoys eating marshmallows, trying to survive in a world full of hows and whys, searching for the answers because I don't know the questions, looking to start so that I can gain ascension. What I believe in is doing the right thing, to help another and end someone's suffering. What I believe in is to stay optimistic. Words to follow, which leads to moralistics. I'm from the bustling city of concrete, which has zooming subways beneath my feet. Cars and buses driving throughout the streets. Rivers that are wondrous and bridges that are ponderous. My family means a lot to me. I grow from them to my family tree. When I'm lost and down, they bring my smile back around. My family gives me wisdom that guides me through the system. My friends are people that I can rely on. My friends are the people that I share a bond. If I didn't ask questions, then it wouldn't be progression. If I didn't think of the bright side, then my thoughts would be clustered full of misguides. The future's not set in stone, but the city's where I'm most at home. I learned from my family. Without them would be a tragedy. My friends are the people I can sit around and laugh with. Without them, life would be bored stiff. These are the things that make me who I am.
Bold, inspiring, fascinating. Are these just a few of the words that come to mind when you see street art? Or do you see it as senseless vandalism? Art has been a way of life dating back to 15,000 BCE, when cavemen drew stories inside their caves. Street art is used to spread messages, inspire others, and bring something like a plain old building or an empty lot to life. It was considered revolutionary until it became known as graffiti and was associated with crime. There was an increase in police surveillance and other measures were taken to prevent people from vandalizing trains or buildings.
Graffiti has a long and proud history. The subculture surrounding graffiti has existed for several decades and is still going strong. Modern graffiti seems to have appeared in Philadelphia in the early 1960s, and by the late 60s, it has reached New York. The new art form really took off in the 1970s, and it was impossible to ignore. Graffiti was used primarily by political activists to make statements at street gangs to mark their territory. As graffiti became associated with crime, many demanded that the government take a more serious stance towards it. The debate over whether graffiti is art or vandalism is still going on.
Graffiti has been around for a long period of time and evolved from the freestyle graffiti seen in New York City subways and streets. The first traces of graffiti were first seen with the work of John Fechner, an innovative artist who was the first to move his art outdoors. One of his most famous pieces of art was his stencil wheel over Indian trails. For 11 years, those words welcomed commuters and visitors to New York City. Graffiti and street art have been a part of the New York cityscape for decades. Starting in the late 1960s, their art form quickly spread throughout the boroughs, slowly gaining popularity. By the 1970s, the Lower East Side was transformed into a hub for many artists who used its walls as their canvas. Since that time, graffiti and street art have conquered the eyes of people worldwide, morphing from local urban expressions to vibrant artistic genre.
Artists like Jean-Michel Basquiat, Keith Haring, and Lee Quinones became famous for their works that showed up all over the Lower East Side. Basquiat actively challenged politics, power structures, and systems of racism through his art. Haring expressed concepts of birth, death, sexuality, and war using human-like figures in his works all over the world. Quinones often added poetic messages to his art, like, "Graffiti is art, and if art is a crime, please God, forgive me." They were given a voice through these pieces, a voice that will always be heard throughout history.
Today's street art is a multi-million-dollar industry and a quick way to establish a career if you choose to go that route. In New York, back in the 70s, life wasn't that simple. Young artists by the thousands, decades onto their city after their 4 or 6 year college tour and considered themselves lucky to be included in one group show per year, where hopefully a critic would single out their work. The art world was a shitty place as the newer fine artists battled to hold a place in the gallery system. 6-year-old kids from the ghetto were being treated as rock stars by their peers. They were the graffiti artists. Subway graffiti was peaking in the mid and late 70s, and it was impossible to ignore. Jean-Michel Basquiat grew up in it. He was one of the greatest graffiti artists. Michel had grown up in Brooklyn and rode the train every day. His graffiti was done between 1979 and 1981 under the name Samu in Aldiez. Was significantly different. Michel wrote provoking messages throughout Soho and the Lower East Side. The messages were written in spray paint and done in the straight letter style of an elementary school. He also had some famous quotes where "I don't listen to what art critics say. I don't know anybody who needs a critic to find out what art is." Michel began showing his galleries and commanded high prices for his work. And in 1982, a new phrase was seen around Soho: "Samu is dead."
One thing that you need to take from this is that when some people can't express themselves freely, they spill it out onto a canvas. In this case, their canvas of choice was anything that they could get spray paint on.
itself is an attraction for all. However, most people do not realize the issues that surround them. We quickly realize that overpopulation is a huge conflict that impacts a lot of people. Not only is overpopulation an issue, but overpopulation leads to littering and traffic.
Hey, I'm Nantiba. And I'm Desiree. Since overpopulation is prevalent in New York City, we decided to interview a few residents living in the area.
The interviewees answered a set of questions pertaining to this issue, and we came across many similarities.
So, good afternoon, sir. Can you tell us what your name is?
Carmine Caniglio,
Okay, so which community do you reside in?
University Heights.
Oh, okay. So, do you feel that your community is overpopulated?
No.
Oh, you don't feel so?
No. Why?
Oh, I mean, we live in New York, so...
Well, it's New York. You expect a certain amount of population. It's not overly populated, at least the street that I live on.
Oh, so littering isn't a problem in the area you reside in?
It is, actually. Dumping.
Okay, so do you think the population amount is linked to that?
No, I think people come from outside the neighborhood and dump.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so my name is Desiree. How is your commute to work? Like, in the morning, just to rent any place, like, say you want to go to the store or to the mall with your family, or just to work, how is it? Like, can you describe it?
Well, it's very convenient because where I live, there's an entrance to the Deegan. And I have a car, I have a garage.
You have a car?
Yes.
So, let's say you're on the highway trying to go to work in the morning. How is it? Are there, like, a lot of cars? Do you see, like, a lot of people walking in the streets?
Yeah, but I don't commute to work. I take the Metro North.
You take the Metro North, the train, right?
Yeah, there's a
So how's the
university-
train then?
That's the train is
That's your
the
commute?
train is great.
So there's
Well,
not
I
a
work
lot of
from
people.
home a lot, so the stairs are my commute. But
Wow.
yeah, no, I take Metro North down to get into Grand Central and to go wherever I need to go down in the city.
So I guess you don't see a lot of people or a lot of cars.
You do. You always see them on the highway, and if I ever have to drive downtown, it is pretty bad.
Okay, so at the end of the day, are you happy with the community you live in? Like, with the way it looks and all this stuff? Like, do you think it's good?
It's nice. It's getting nicer.
Is there any need for improvement?
I'm sure there is. And they're working on it right now, like this bridge, for instance. And I just discovered some new bike paths that almost go to my house.
Okay.
That I can come here on. So those weren't here 15 years ago when I moved in.
Wow.
So things are getting better. Could they be better than that? I think so. They could be a lot better.
Okay. Thank you for your time, Carmine.
So, good afternoon, sir. Can you tell us your name?
My name is Thomas,
Which community do you reside in?
Harlem, New York.
Okay, so can you tell us about the area?
Well, it's a nice area. It's a lot of history there. I enjoy the area. It's a lot of green space. It's a community feel. Feels like one big family. So yeah, it's a nice place to live.
Do you feel that it gets overcrowded? It's really populated?
I feel like I might think that it's overcrowded if I didn't like the people, but I love the people in my neighborhood, love the people in my community, so I feel like it's just right.
How do you feel about littering in your community?
It's a pretty big issue. I know that my neighborhood senator, Bill Perkins, issued like I don't know what it's like a bill to increase the amount of waste bins that we have. So now they have these like really big waste containers with his name all over it. But it's good. It's a good initiative for the community.
Okay, so where you work, how is the commute in the morning? Like do you drive or do you take the train?
Well, my Ferrari's damaged right now.
Whoa.
So I actually take the C train about 20 minutes. I'm coming from Harlem, so it's not too long of a trip to get to Washington Heights. So it's about 20 minutes.
Okay, so you take the train. So how is it on the train station? Is there like a lot of people, really populated?
Well, that's an interesting question because coming to the Heights, the C on 168th is the last stop. So you get to see the MTA workers going in and mopping and sweeping the train. And like seeing them do it, I think gives me a different mindset on littering on the trains, just seeing them in there sweeping everything up. But it's not too populated in the morning, not too populated at night really. I'm sure it gets busy at times, but on the times I'm coming in and getting off, it's not too populated.
Okay, so at the end of the day, are you happy with the community you live in?
I am. I'm happy getting off the train and walking home. I live right across the street from the park, so it's always a good feel.
Officer Sutton.
Okay, so can you tell us which community you live in?
I live in the Bronx.
Oh, so
Well, I mean, the city in general is overpopulated, so.
Interesting.
So, as a part of the park enforcement, how do you feel about littering in your own community?
I mean, as a park enforcement officer, that is our job to make sure that the parks, people obey all the rules. And one of the rules is littering. That is a major problem because people feel like it's not a problem. They just throw their gum wrapper on the floor. They don't think it's a big deal. Throw their plastic bottles on the floor. And they feel like it's just one thing. So it's not a big problem. But if everyone's doing it, then you have garbage everywhere. And then, it's not good for people. So.
Wow. I would like to ask you another question. How is your commute to work? Can you give us like an insight about that?
It depends on the time of day. Like right now, my tour is 1 to 9. So when I'm coming in at 1 o'clock, there's not a lot of people on the road because not a lot of people are coming into work at 1 o'clock, so it's fine. And then I leave at 9, so it's not bad because everyone's pretty much home already, so I get home, no problem. But if I work like 8 to 4, then that's a problem because everybody's on the road. Everyone's trying to get in for 8 o'clock. Everyone's leaving at 4 o'clock, so there's always a lot of traffic. Like, if you look at over there, there's always traffic over there. Down on the Cross Bronx is always traffic, so it depends on the time of day.
So, do you think that overpopulation leads to littering? Like, is there any connection?
Yeah, because if let's say, there wasn't, if we lived, like, out in the suburbs, it's not as much people, so if someone were to litter, it wouldn't be that bad. In the city, if one person litters, it's crazy because there's so many people in the city, so.
Okay, last question. At the end of the day, are you happy with the community you live in?
Overall, yeah, pretty happy.
all I am is a man. I walk the world in my hands. I hate to be choice. You and those little high-waisted shorts. So she knows what I think about. What I think about. One love, 2 mouths. One love, 1 house. No shirt, no blouse. Just us from now. Nothing that I wanna tell you about. No, 'cause it's too cold for you here and now. So let me hold both your hands in the holes on my sweat. And if I may, just take your breath away. Out of mine, there's not much to say. Sometimes the silence got some minds. Means to the place so far away. The goosebumps start to raise. A minute that I let 10 minutes to race. And then I watch your face. Put my finger on your tongue 'cause you love the taste, yeah. And these hands adore. Everybody else beats hard to boy. Inside these places warm. Outside it's saucy boy. Coming down. One love, 2 mouths. One love, 1 house. No shade, no blouse. Just us to find out. Nothing that I wouldn't wanna tell you about. No, no, no. This is too cold for you here and now. So let me hold both your hands in the holes on my sweater.